Hello and welcome to my channel, my lovely people. It's Oge here from Creations, all the way from Abuja, Nigeria. In this video, I would like to show you how I preserve my banga. Should I say how I prepare my frozen banga? This banga, I bought it. I normally buy a lot once a month. I will do a video on my grocery haul one of these days, and because I had a lot of things to do and cook, I didn't have time to prepare my banga, so I froze it. Before I froze it, I cooked it for a few minutes, about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I froze because I didn't want to leave it out because I have a full-time job, and if I make any mistake, the banga will spoil. And leaving it in the fridge is also not an option because sometimes if the power is not consistent, there's tendency. I really don't trust leaving things in the fridge except it's fruits and vegetables, really. So I just cooked it and then froze it. And today I'll be extracting the juice from the banga, from the frozen banga. Because I didn't let this store for a while before preparing, it's going to take longer to cook because the water will be cold in the pot. So, but that's okay. If you're going to be doing this method, when you're ready to use it, you just bring it out from the freezer and leave it out on the countertop for a while before cooking. Look at some of the ice on the banga. It's actually pre-cooked. The reason I'm having to cook it again is so that it will heat up. You know, this is oil. The heat will help the oil to be extracted from the chaff and of course the seeds. So that's why I'm having to cook it again. Sometimes when I'm doing this, I just extract the juice. After I've extracted the juice, if I'm not ready to prepare the banga soup, I freeze the juice. Yes, I love my freezer. My freezer is my best friend. I do a lot of things with my freezer. So guys, you want to join me on this journey if you want to know more about me and of course how I do my things. I share these kinds of videos, arts, craft, healthy living, recipes, and much more. So welcome. If you're new here, I would appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. I love you guys. So this is going to be cooking for about another 10 to 15 minutes. But because the water is going to be cold, it will take a while before it cooks. So, but it doesn't matter, right? Eventually, we're going to be extracting the juice. Okay, here is where the main action is happening. I have my mortar and pestle. I have my kettle of hot boiling water. I normally, while I'm preparing my banga, I always boil hot water on the side because the hot water is what I use to extract all the juice. For me, it helps me to extract as much juice as possible. And then I have my bowl with my strainer and then cup. I don't know, for some reason, I don't like to use my hand though. Maybe it's the fear of the heat that the heat from all the hot water and everything. But I know that a couple of people use hot hands to extract the juice. I don't, and I really don't feel comfortable using it. Like I said, maybe I'm afraid. But if you do that, or if you have your way of doing it, please, I would like to share other methods. I really don't like extracting banga juice. This is the part I hate about making banga soup. But now, of course, with a food processor, you can extract the juice. But we're still doing the local things as local girl that I am. So, yes, I'm just sharing with you guys. So this is going to be pounding for about 5 to 10 minutes. You're not pounding, you're not hitting the mortar against pestle against the mortar hard. You're just going to be rubbing, basically pounding and rubbing at the same time, so that the aim is to use the pestle to grind. Should I use the word? Is grinding the right word? To grind the seeds so that all the chaff, because it's in the chaff that the oil is, so you want to try and expose the chaff from the seeds as much as possible. Yeah, that's what we're doing here, and I don't like this at all. I spoke to a nurse in the hospital when one of the days I went to the hospital, and she talked about some discussion led us to pounding. And she said pounding is not a woman's job. that naturally men are supposed to be the ones pounding. Who is going to tell that to our African men or Nigerian men? Because most times women pound. He said because of our body structure, because of the way our bodies are designed, women are not supposed to be pounding. Okay, well, maybe when the time comes, we'll tell our men to help us in the pounding. And she said her husband does all the pounding in the house. Lucky her. But for now, we are still doing our pounding ourselves until when our mentality has changed to Oyibo type. For now, let's enjoy it while we are doing it. So I'm just going to be squeezing and rubbing against the the mortar to make sure that I go as deep as possible to get all of them out, all of the chaff out. When I'm preparing my banga soup, I like to use scent leaf as much as I also use other spices, banga spice to prepare banga soup. I like to use scent leaf because for me it helps to enhance the flavor of the banga soup. That is my opinion though. How do you like your banga soup? I would like for you to share with me so we can share ideas together, right? This is what it should look like when you're done. The shaft everything should just be scatter like this. And then the shaft, they at least virtually everything should have been out. In fact, every all the shaft should be out of all the seeds. If you've started to express and you notice there's still some work that needs to be done, you can still continue from where you stopped after you've extracted the water. So now I've added hot water, right, into this, and I'm stirring just to make sure that everything gets out as much as possible. Yeah. For me, this is a project. I tag a project and everybody's going to give way for me. Look at how I balance on the floor with my chair and mortar and everything. I do this sometimes once a month though, or maybe twice a month, depending on how I feel, on how my mood. If I have to make banga, it has to be plenty enough to last me for a month. Maybe I'll just package it after I prepared it and eat it once in a week. Once in a week is not good enough. I don't like stress. Until I get the food processor where I can easily make this. Until then, but for now, we have to minimize the number of times we make banga soup in the house. I cannot come and kill myself. Of course, while I'm having this once in a month, maybe we can alternate with stew in once a week. I mean, like once a week, we can then another we have stew again, then jollof rice, then maybe smoked with jollof rice, fried rice. We do a lot of options here on this channel and in my house. So subscribe if you have not joined this family yet, and we try to make things healthy too. So we're not always doing junks. We don't do a lot of junks. So you want to be in that train, and so you can tag along to be in that train with me, guys. I'll be awaiting you guys. So I've added more water, and yes, sometimes it's a bit tricky because you have to extract as much juice as possible. Where the wahala in this whole thing is that you now have to cook down the water after you finish pouring all this water. You now have to cook it down again. That's like gas. Your gas just going like that. Please, guys, if you have another option or an alternative to this, I would like it if you can drop your comments in this comment section so I can also learn. I'm also a learner. I'm sharing with you. This is how I do it for now. If I have any updated method, I'll be sharing with you guys as well. Outside, of course, outside of the food processor method. So, guys, let me have your comments below. I'll appreciate it. So you want to add water and extract as much as possible until I won't say the water is clear, because water, you just be adding water unnecessary, but you'll be able to gauge to compare how the texture of the water, and of course the color of the water when you first started as against what it is at the time that you want to stop. Then you can say, okay, yeah, I can let this go, I can sacrifice this. And then, yeah, because that, if adding water until the water is clear, will just mean that you're just going to be wasting your gas, because that's really not significant enough. So we're done with this process, and this is time to sieve or strain. You can use a smaller strainer. The reason I'm adding this extra hot water is to make sure that any leftover oils that has rested on the shaft can also melt and be strained as well into the bowl that I'm using to collect it all. And then with my iron spoon, I'm just pressing down. Yeah, I guess at this point I can actually use my hand because it won't be as hot. But really, what difference will it make when the bulk of the oil has already been extracted? Here's what it looks like. All the oil settles on the top. Most times the water goes below. The oil is on the top, the water is down below. And then in my pot again, in a clean pot, I'm going to be pouring this palm oil mix, or palm kernel juice. Yes, if you want to oiborize it, palm kernel juice into this pot. And be careful not to add the bottom part, because sand and some leftover chaff usually settle below. I'm going to be trashing this. So now it's time for cooking. We're going to cook this up to 30 minutes, depending on how fast your gas boils. Up to 30 minutes until you arrive at the consistency that you want. First, I covered the pot so that it can help the heat to help it to boil faster. And then afterwards, I'm just letting the pot open so that all the water can evaporate as much as possible. Like I said earlier in the video, at this point I can decide, once the water is out like this, I can decide I want to store it in a bowl and freeze it, or I could use it right here and then, right there and then mix it, add my stockfish, dry fish, meat, or whatever it is I intend to use it for, and then package them all and freeze, then use as I like. If I'm not ready to do that, I could just freeze this. Yes, it's possible to freeze your banga and it doesn't affect the taste, of course, except you don't have constant power supply. Then that is up beyond 3 days or 4 days, then you now stand the chance or the risk of things being damaged in the freezer. But if you have constant supply of power, then things you store in the freezer have tendency to last for you for as long as possible. I hope this video is able to help you, or hope you've learned one or two things from this video. So give me a thumbs up if you like this video. If you like videos like this, it helps me to know that you like what I post. Meanwhile, drop your comments below, and of course subscribe if you're yet to subscribe to my channel. I'll be seeing you in another video. Of course, share this video with your friends and family. I would really appreciate that. I'll be seeing you in another video, guys. I share videos like this: health, healthy living, budgeting, recipes, DIYs, and much more frugal lifestyle. See you in another video, bye guys. Bye.